When you eat gluten, remember, gluten's a catch-all, okay? One of those proteins in the gluten is called gliadin. And gliadin is made up of proline and glutamine. And glutamine breaks down into glutamate or glutamic acid. Well, glutamic acid, we have to understand, has to be removed from the body as well. Some people don't clear it as well, genetically. That's why genetics matter, right? They matter, but they're only there on the outside. And it's not going to be triggered on a low gluten or no gluten diet. So again, I want you to understand that, right? Because I have this genetic susceptibility. I learned it the hard way, very hard way, for about 27 years, right? I mean, I was gluten-free by about 21, 22 years old, so I learned it by then, but still. So what does all this talk about glutamate? Well, now that we know that glutamine can break down from gluten to glutamate, now we can begin to understand the neurological component, and here's why. Because glutamate is a excitatory neurotransmitter, at least a precursor, which means this. It excites the nervous system, which excites the brain. Think about this, getting overly excited as a child in not a good way, right? They can't control literally what's going on inside of their body, and they're acting out with screaming, with yelling, with some type of tantrum. Right? That's a child. What would it look like an adult? Well, it could go the opposite direction. It could go brain fog, or it could go really severe irritability or angry. It just depends where your nervous system goes to. That's some of that genetic susceptibility. But what you're susceptible is this byproduct that you're having a very difficult time clearing from your body, right? That's the glutamate. Well, the glutamate, as I said, is an excitatory neurotransmitter. And what does it do? It essentially wipes out or eventually lowers a lot of your natural anti-anxiety-based neurotransmitters. So what do you end up with? You end up with an anxious child or an anxious adult, which leads to higher levels of stress. That stress throws off the hormones in your body as well as your immune system. And over time, this glutamate, which is also inflammatory, especially coming from gluten, begins to affect the nervous system, your gut, and your brain. So I hope that you start to see that this is all connected, that conventional medicine treats all of these things separate, but they're not. They are all connected. What we put into our body matters. Our microbiome balance matters, because the worse your microbiome, the worse this is exacerbated by, right?